How will SEO change in 2024?
I think in 2024, SEO is going to double down on a lot more EEAT. So experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And this goes back to what we're talking about earlier on, that people want to read from people who are talking from experience and not because they've scraped the SERPs and come up with a whole bunch of content they put together in an article. So, the trustworthiness and the authoritativeness, you can't speak to that if you haven't actually gone through the thing that you're going through, which unfortunately presents another chicken and egg problem. Because if you've never actually done the work, how do you generate the authority to speak on that well and to generate trust? But there are ways to break it. If you worked in house and you start your own business, then you're speaking from experience and you have some case studies because the clients that you worked with while in house, you did that work. So you can also talk about that in your new business. And if you're then doing SEO as a young startup, I think that's one place to start, is just speak about your own experience. If you're doing personal branding content on LinkedIn, what have you done in the past? And to speak more about how SEO is going to change in 2024, I think we're going to see a lot less fluffy intros. I wrote a piece about that, and it's a thing that I'm passionate about because no one is more annoyed than someone who's looking for an answer but has to wade through a long contextual intro about what is X and why is X important. Like, we know, just jump into it. It's kind of like reading recipes online. Like, you want to know how to make lamb biryani, and the writer is talking about the recipe that her great grandmother wrote. And it's like, that's all fine, but can I just know how to make lamb biryani?
Yeah, I totally agree. You can search for something simple like what's Blake Lively's next film, and then you read an article that's a biography of her entire life, everything she's done up until now, where she lives, what she wears, and then at the very end, it's the title of her film, just the title. Whereas for me, I've always preferred articles that have the snippet at the start. I know that Google really likes the snippet, and if it's done right, the snippet can become a snippet in Google search itself, which is really, really useful. But I like it when they have like the TLDR at the start with the answer. And then you can put the same content there, because once people have the answer, they might stay or they might not, but there's no need to trick them into staying. It'll just make them dislike you. You might get more time on the page for that particular article, but they'll be much less likely to visit your website overall.
And much less likely to buy from you either, because now they trust you a little bit less than they did before the land renewal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's definitely a lot of text on the web that's just written for SEO. A lot of it looks like, oh, they're going for a keyword. So they created a listicle that has no rhyme or reason, no reason for existing. It's just text from other articles. And it just purely exists for the sake of existing. I think that will carry much less weight in 2024. I do think, especially with AI and things, people have a higher standard, so they prefer to read something that's written by a person, and it can have their own experience, maybe some anecdotes, but that it looks like it was written for a person who's genuinely interested in the topic that they're writing about.